Before we go on break, the big thing everyone's been waiting for patiently, what we see in the title, Band-Maid. U.S. Tour 2022 sells out in 5 American cities. I'm sure it's up to 6 already by now. So the Band-Maid U.S. Tour 2022 is conquering American box offices, selling out in 5 out of 11 cities across the country. And I'm pretty sure all VIP is already sold out. So according to Live Nation, ticket sales starting on March 3rd sold out on the very same day in Boston, New York, San Francisco. Indeed, due to that overwhelming demand, organizers quickly moved the Boston show to Brighton Music Hall to the Paradise Rock Club, which has a room for 900 plus attendees. As of this report, Phoenix and Seattle have now also sold out. Okay, can't go to Phoenix one. I was thinking about going to that one. Some tickets are becoming available again, but as verified resale at higher prices. So you guys can go on like Ticketmaster. Some people are like, they're gouging you, but if you really want to see them,
$300 for GA.
Oh, fuck
Didn't they move Dallas too to a bigger venue? There's 2 venues they upgraded.
Let's see.
I'm not sure what the other one was.
I love this description. While the maid-clad rock band from Tokyo has entertained audiences worldwide since 2015, their popularity was noteworthy on their last overseas tour in 2019. Was that tour sold out? Because they did New York, Dallas, and 2 shows in LA, right? Which it does say they sold out. That's before we all discovered them, right? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, that was the year that I discovered them. I think the very end of 2019, but it was after the tours that already happened. So I unfortunately missed out, and then COVID hit, and we all missed out for the next 2 years. But
so Dallas has updated to the House of Blues.
That's right. They switched.
There you go, man. That to me is like I could not possibly be happier for them. Imagine being them,
that's great.
Right? And you're like, okay, we released a new album, we haven't been able to tour from it because of COVID. We're finally getting to go on tour and like show people this music. And now we find out that all of our shit is selling out overseas, and we have to go to bigger venues so that we can get more of our fans here. I mean, that's the ultimate sort of, we have made it beyond what we thought we were capable of at the moment that we were designing this. You know what I mean? Like this is proving that they're more popular than even they knew they were.
Can I say this though?
I couldn't be more happy for them.
The thing about Band-Maid that I really love is that they somehow kept this Western sound, because they really do. Compared to a lot of Japanese bands, they have this very overwhelmingly Western sound, but underneath, they kind of fuse that Japanese style of the chaos and creativity along with organization with their music. So I think this is just a very winning formula. Kind of like with Baby Metal, like they capitalized on that new metal sound, but still had it Japanese, but not really. You know what I mean? And so what's going to happen, I think Band-Maid is just going to become on that equal playing level, like as Baby Metal would when they toured. You know what I mean? That's what's going to happen, because they found a way to mix all genres, but like it's still very appealing to the West, but still appealing to the East, right? In my opinion. I don't know. I could be tripping. What do you guys think?
No, I agree completely. And I think the new rage in general is hybrid music. Nobody really listens. Like everybody's more interested when you can kind of cross genres nowadays and like do things that are, people may not have seen coming a decade or two ago. And the being able to fuse that Western and Eastern sounds, like you said, which you can like obviously tell when you listen to like Band Maiko and then a Band-Maid song next to it, where it's like one of these sounds like very much more Eastern, and then one of these sounds much more Western. You could see, like, you could feel where the inspiration came from on each of them, and I think that yes, it's very appealing, especially to like us, who have lost a lot of the rock music that we would have liked in the West to hear. A lot of it has faded out of mainstream existence. We don't know if it's ever really going to come back. And Band-Maid's coming over here selling shit out, doing that kind of music. I mean, it's not. Let me rephrase what I said about just being happy for them. I'm happy for us too, man. Like I'm happy for them and us and music in general to see a goddamn rock band come from the East and sell out shows in America. Like that to me is just, and I'm not going to say like, you know, a metal band, blah, blah, blah. They're like a classic rock band to me. They're like half classic rock, you know? So they're keeping amazingly, they're keeping that sound alive in the West, even though they're from the East. Because I don't know many bands that are actually excelling in the West that are doing
there's something else that's happening too. There's a lot of bands like I think Ryan and I like that are more on the underground side that kind of get trapped under because they weren't able to show off that side that Band-Maid has been able to break through on. I think like there's so many amazing bands here in America. It's just they're not pushing through for some reason. So like I hope what's going to happen is they do blow up and maybe some of those bands do finally get some time to show their progressiveness, because like I said before, as Dichotic, we would get shit on because it's too mellow. It wasn't heavy enough and blah, 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 X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Well, Ryan, what do you think about that? Do you think it's a possibility? Like they'd bring up maybe some openers and stuff from cities around the U.S.?
Pretty great if they would. I don't know. You had me thinking about, I went to some relative's house yesterday for a birthday party. It's about an hour drive or so, and tried, you know, putting the radio on, and it was all just either fucking commercials or crap. And I'm like, yeah, I got to put Spotify on and just hit my likes from all the playlists that we made on Discord. It's so bad, dude. So I don't know. There may be great bands around here, but are the record companies and producers are too fucking stupid to put them out.
Agreed. Agreed.
I don't know what it is, dude. Okay, we listen to this music because Japanese music they're just beyond what we're hearing every day here. And they're always pushing the envelope. You know, these people have been playing music most of the time their entire lives, you know, and so they know their shit, like every aspect of it. And then they pick an instrument to play. And then they excel at that. So every member of Band-Maid, as well as most of these bands we talk about, they're all pro-level players. So they're not fucking around. So they come here, and people that like the music as opposed to a band, because there's a difference, they hear it, and they're like, wow, whatever's going on visually, this music is incredible. And you can latch on, a guitarist, bass player, vocalist, you know, you can latch on, or a drummer, you can latch on to whatever member you want, and it's fantastic. So, you know, I don't know who they would pull in to support them, but I'd rather they just keep doing.
Do a longer show.
What I'm hoping for is like you know, back like then, right, when the bands would start up and all of a sudden like Rush was the fucking opener, but they weren't big yet, right? Like stuff like that, like them having that thing, like something like that is what I'm hoping for, because there's there is good bands here. My fault. Maybe I should probably do some more reactions on American bands, because there is good bands here. They're just really, really fucking suppressed down. Like, you know what I mean?
I'd like to see like Nemophila open for Band-Maid or something. Like, other Japanese bands going on tour together would be really cool.
I would like a combination of the two. Give me both.
I want to see bands from all over the world.
Further my thought on this before I get lost in the freaking
show. All right, we don't want to run.
Sorry, Ryan.
Go.
I got my sunglasses on. Pay attention.
I can't look you in your eyes.
Yeah,
what I'd like to see is Band-Maid bring on some other bands, Japanese bands, to open for them, because if Band-Maid gets bigger and more well known, they can bring some of these other bands, and other people are going to start noticing and be like, "Wow, maybe we should just start playing real music instead of catering to the bullshit that's being put out on the radio."
But my point
the Japanese music
is
industry
that
can be a lesson too.
My point is there is a lot of people playing real music out there but people just like, nah. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. There is people out there playing real music.
I feel like we need to
but
hear it. How are they getting it to us?
Right. The American music industry doesn't care about that because they keep playing the pop music on the radio.
Exactly.
The big bucks are going into promoting pop music that's, you know, easy to listen to, easy to get stuck in your head, but easy come, easy go. It's gone just as fast as it got there.
Well, you got to remember that's happening in Japan too. I mean, it's still the same like that in Japan. The pop bands, they're significantly bigger than the rock and metal bands.
Here's what we need. We need like You know, in like the new iPhone commercials, how they had like BTS and Blackpink playing in the background. They're bringing like these K-pop songs over for like iPhone, big like Apple, whatever. These big commercials and stuff like that. I mean, we should be hearing like, you know, Band-Maid's Domination in like a Ford commercial. You know what I mean? Like the car commercials that are still playing.
Yeah, maybe they'll be in a Honda commercial.
They're still playing like, you know, Led Zeppelin and AC/DC tracks over those. Let's just, you know, these songs still get played on the radio. You know, if you turn on like any sort of FM radio station that plays rock and roll music, what are you hearing? You're hearing stuff from the 70s, 60s, sometimes the 80s, stuff like that. They're not playing like even like Nickelback, who was probably the biggest band of like the aughts, right? Like 2000, 2010, for whatever reason, they got hugely popular. I don't know anybody that actually listened to them, but they were hugely popular and played everywhere. You don't even hear that anymore. You know what I mean? Like that's gone too. We need like commercial appeal. And I'm literally talking about commercials, like advertisements, where what they're doing with the K-pop, they do it with the J-Rock also. And once the American viewers can see the you know, this J-Rock being played on a commercial or something like that, I think that it opens the doors. But there's so much of this is about perception to me, where like it's not about the music. There probably is great music being played in America places, you know, rock music, but we're not hearing it because the perception is that that's not what is going to make money nowadays. So they're not even going to bother trying, which is why you still hear the same top 40 songs over and over again. You turn on any FM station, you don't hear the new rock music. You don't hear, it's all the same crap we've been listening to for the last 30 years.
Well, the reason why, like I mentioned before, they're all in catalogs. All those songs are in catalogs that they sell off. The thing is that would be awesome, that would happen if they get all these Japanese bands into like catalogs like that and they sell it like that. But then you're introducing the music industry again, and you don't want to do that either. So it's a bunch of fuckery.
I mean, where are these bands on YouTube? Like, what? Look, we're not the only reactors out there. You know what I mean? Like, there are a bunch of reactors that are doing things that are not Asian, right? Not Japanese rock, that are like, you know, they're guitarists or whatever, and they're doing reactions on YouTube. I don't, even those people, you know, that we follow that are not a part of this podcast, that, you know, I'm sure we each follow our own people that we like to see. It's not like I hear or see these new, fresh American bands like on their channels either. I really don't think anybody knows how to find them. There's no way to promote it.
You know what? You gave me a really good idea. I'm going to start fucking looking for them and bringing them on. Now that I'm thinking about them, like, fucking, I'm going to go look for them because they're out there. There was so many good bands in New York that I heard that were fucking phenomenal and really good musicians that they just got beaten down so much that they're just like, I can't do this. And they just went and worked, you know?
Yeah.
They couldn't do it.
Well, they're not making any money.
There's a band called Spire from upstate New York that was like a tech metal Rush version. Like it was phenomenal. But this is when I was like 18, 19, and you know, this shit didn't exist. But I don't know. But I'm just saying, they're out there. Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
It's going to take people like us to find bands like that and push them, because the industry doesn't give a fuck about really talented people. That's not why they pick anybody to promote. They promote their look or their digestible sound. It's not about the skill. That's why you got bands like Band-Maid and like fucking winery dogs that are just people. I know about them, and
you have to be
small circles know
now.
about them, but they're great bands, but they're not heard because it's just
right.
It's the whole, you know, same thing Champs mentioned. What gets pushed to you? I've looked for new bands, and it's all the same shit over and over.
Yeah,
and to find something rare where there's a unique vocal or a unique guitar, it's hard to do.
I want to take this one step further though, and say that the problem might be even deeper than what we're saying, which is already deep, you know. But
Polyphia, yeah.
The idea that
Polyphia is a good example, right? Sorry, go ahead, Champ.
I think that instruments have kind of faded out of mainstream popularity in general. It's like, how do you get people interested in guitar if they are not already interested in guitar and everything that they hear is produced sort of, you know, beats on a synthesizer or something like that? I've talked to, you know, my son's 14. I've talked to his friends before about the music that they like and stuff like that. It is so rare that one of his friends plays an instrument beyond just like, you know, marching band instruments nowadays.
Wow.
But yeah, like he knows one person that plays guitar, and it's a girl that likes anime and, you know, plays anime music. You know what I mean? So it's like she's coming at it from almost the same place that we are at this point, where it's like, what is she finding? She's finding anime theme songs that have guitars in it. She's not finding American bands that she's like, oh, that's cool. Like I heard this somewhere. Like I think we literally have to go out to like bars, find indie bands that are doing like, you know, covers of like old school rock and roll music and hope that they play some originals to really find stuff, because it's just not promoted at all. And like I said, even instruments aren't promoted anymore. So how do you change a culture's approach to music is the question that we're asking.
Ryan, what were you saying? Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know.
Oh. Wave, what do you got to say, man? Got anything for add to this before we take our break?
Well, I mean, I agree with what you guys are saying. I think it's hard to even begin to wrap your head around how you would change the entire trajectory of a culture, because I mean, people just do what they want to do. They drift towards that. But I think it's definitely heavily influenced by what the people with money are investing in, promoting, like we were just talking about. Like, it would be nice to hear that music, that newer music that is pushing the bar in more mainstream commercials, stuff that will, you know, get it to more ears. But I don't know where to begin with that. But like, I think it was Rich and Ryan were saying, like, we gotta seek it out. Like you were just talking about, Alan, gotta seek it out and get the word out if we can find it. But like you were all saying, I don't even know where to begin finding it.
Well, what's the most popular music in the country? It's all hip hop and shitty country music.
Time to get it.
We're focused on like a corner of a genre, you know, that we really, really love. And I think if, you know, my son finally started like playing guitar, like getting into it, I'm showing him stuff, and he's learning it. And that's, you know, he doesn't really know. I think he has a couple, maybe a friend or two that play, but, I don't know. I mean, what can we do? There's a monster that's already kind of rolling as far as music goes, but if we can get as many people to listen to bands enough to at least support the bands.
True.
I don't know. It's
a
weird thing to try and.
Yeah.
You got to find them first, though. We got to find those bands too. Like they've got to. Somebody in the comments mentioned, I'm sorry I missed it, but somebody in the comments mentioned we've also lost 2 years of local bands due to the pandemic, which is a fact that you don't even really think about. Like if you're a local band and you're trying to make some money and now suddenly you can't play shows, the band's probably over. Like you might come back to it a couple years later when everything opens back up, now that that's happening. But realistically, I mean, if you're 30 years old, 25, 30 years old, and you're trying to make some money in a band and you can't take 2 years off, you got to go do something else. Yeah. So now it's almost like a reset, you know. Hopefully with a reset comes, you know, fresh eyes and fresh views on new talent and stuff like that. But we still have to find them, and they've got to get themselves out there also. Like on YouTube, they've got to, you know, sorry to really, I know we're about to take a break, but I real quick want to say, you know, my old band, who's still, you know, trying to do stuff with their time, they really don't utilize stuff like social media platforms like Twitch or YouTube or anything like that to the advantage that it actually is. I think that they know that it helps, it's a benefit, but I don't think they realize how much of a benefit it is. And they're still very much like, we need to go out there and play shows. We got to play the show at this place and this play the show at this place. And it's like, you've already played at that venue. You've already played at that venue. How many more people do you think you're attracting by continuing to go to those places versus putting all of your music on YouTube, high quality performances, and then just like getting everybody to share it, you know, please share my music, you know, online. Like that's probably going to benefit you more.
That's a really interesting point, where like, that's kind of the difference. We don't see like American record labels actually supporting reaction channels that go and share the music, at least not that I'm aware of. Whereas the Japanese record labels we know of that are cool with it, they do. That is part of their marketing strategy. Like you're just talking about, is having that social media presence and then hoping people react to it.
And that is something that we are going to talk about after the break.
Sweet.
I just wanna
Sorry,
say-
Ryan. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead, Ryan. You have any?
Let's say bands. I mean, they can't rely on the old ways of doing shit either. I made more money. The amount of time I've been doing the stuff I've been doing here, I made more than the same amount of time playing in a band, and that was 20 years ago. So a band, they should be able to. They can't just play music. They got to be able to do more stuff.
Yep.
And it may not be gigs. It'll be live performances that you stream or you share with your Patreon or whatever. And then it's a different. It's gone away from going on a stage in front of people saying, "Look what I can do," as opposed to, they're not looking. They're looking online. So you got to. It's kind of a new place they have to put out their product, and they have to be able to do more because you're going to make it on merch like you do if you tour merch and fucking whatever. But you got to, it's a different world, so you got to play within the rules of that world.
Yeah.
And like all of us here, we're all musicians. People might have to start doing more than music, like you're just saying, as in also, getting to or putting stuff out like reaction videos, supporting other bands, and then people can get to know them and their personalities through that, like we've all experienced, because doing reactions to other bands, helping to support other bands has given us all a platform to share our own music if we want to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We can shit on, how the culture is and like the music industry, and it all makes sense, and we're not lying about it. But there's also there's a responsibility to the bands themselves to adjust their style of advertising and promoting themselves, as well as us who, like us being, we help to get the word out from time to time. And, if we really want something big, we probably got to do more ourselves to find it.
That was exactly my point. That's why I brought it up. That's exactly my point. That's something that I just realized right now. I'm like, wow, I'm motivated. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I know what I'm going to do now. Does that make sense? So like, as we're talking, I'm like, man, why don't we, So I don't know. Just really eye-opening for me right now as we're all talking, how we're all explaining this. And shout out to Band-Maid for opening this can of worms right now. Just to finish off the news article real quick, guys. And then make sure you like this video right now. Like it right now. We got 184 people in here. Let's get that up to 150. We'd really appreciate it. But I just want to say, I'm glad that we had this discussion. And it's awesome that a band as amazing as Band-Maid brought this out of us. All I'm saying is, like, for me, I love the style of music that's coming out there, and it was a style of music that I know in the U.S. was always just like put down, and that's why
no problem, Andrew.
That's why I gravitate so much towards that style of music, which I think is like all of us here.
For more insanity like you just saw, be sure to subscribe to Gaijin Guys and turn on all notifications so you know when we're going live on Sundays to record the podcast. You can also find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like more exclusive content and reactions to Japanese music, come support us on Patreon. We'll see you there.